there, welcome back. So we got to get going here, and we're gonna wrap up this scenario. I mean, the scenario's wrapped up, but like we got to do the closing arguments, as the attorneys would say. And I know I had to wrap up real quick. We won, but of course I didn't do much after that. I did look it up. So, for example, the banner spear here does get a check mark for doing this, and then these are just goals that if you accomplish these goals, you get another perk. It's just 2 more ways to get perks, which is awesome. I really like it. I just didn't know what it was at the time, and yeah, I'm gonna have to start writing and getting things on here. So let's do that. Let's do exactly that. Let's name our characters, and then we're gonna do what's called the Outpost phase, where we go back to town and do all the various things at town. It's going to take the whole video. So if you're waiting for the next scenario, this is not going to be it. We're going to just do the town phase in this scenario. I'll pause the game as needed. I have fully read the rules. They all made sense as I was reading them, but of course there's a lot of little details. And it is pretty new compared to Gloomhaven. The concept's the same, but it's new. So let's start with at least just wrapping up the character stuff. So let's start with Blink here. So he's a quattril, and if you're new to Gloomhaven, that is the race. He's a quattril race, and he's the Blink Blade, which that's his class, of course. And they keep recommending that we use a pencil, which I never use. I don't even know if I own one. So we got to give him a name. And his name is going to be Rapture. Because the rapture, when Jesus returns, will happen quicker than the blink of an eye. So there you go. His name's Rapture. All right, and his he needed to gain 7 or fewer experience points, and he has exactly 6. So he pulled it off. So I'm going to put he gained 6, and then for the scenario, since we're doing a level 1 scenario, he gained 6 more. So he has a total of 12 experience points right now. So I will write it on here. We're going to do 12. Okay. And then we can obviously reset this back to 0. And we did get the 2 check marks. So we come up here and we're going to put X's on those 2 spots. And as far as like everything else, he has these materials. Now this was the part I really needed to read up on, and I believe I have a fairly solid understanding. Couple of things. The first one is, and this is jumping ahead a little bit, but there is a set of buildings that are going to be in town. In fact, it's going to be these 4 buildings. And they're all going to be level 0, which means that they don't exist, but the foundation's there. So we're going to build them, and it'll have a cost. It's not this cost, it's written on the game board. But then after we build them, it's going to have effects that occur during the daytime or during the night phase. And so each of them will have different abilities they give you. The barracks is going to allow you to train soldiers, which will help you defend the town. Because the town is going to get raided from time to time. And there is a side when the building is built, and then this side is for when the building is wrecked, I believe. And so this is like what it's going to cost to repair the building after it's been wrecked. And then if it's just damaged, that's the cost to repair, and so forth. So why am I getting into all this building stuff? Well, there are buildings where you can brew herbs. So this is like an alchemist. You can make potions. And then there are buildings where you can craft items. Okay? So there's also a lot of other buildings. Now, it looks like there's a lot of cards here, but there's buildings that go up to level 6, level 7, right? So sometimes it's the same copy of a building. Like that's a craftsman building just at level 6. So there's a level, we're at level 1 here that's been unlocked. Okay, so why am I mentioning all this? Well, the reason is there is a party sheet as well that we need to maintain where we keep all the party information. And I'm going to go over this as soon as we're done dealing with all the character stuff. But these materials are either carried by the party or by the player. Or character, I mean to say. So if I created a new character without retiring this one first, the stuff that he has doesn't transfer to the other character. Alright, now getting back to this. The crafting of items can only happen with materials that you have. Okay? You can take any of these items that you obtained and give them to the party. But you're never allowed to take it from the party. You're actually giving it to the town, not to the party. So any items that are owned by the town, you can never take for crafting items. You can only craft items with your own personal stuff. Once you craft an item, then it becomes available in the store for purchase by the other players. That part's cool. But crafting an item has to be done with your own personal inventory. Now, what's crazy, and where the rules get wonky to me, is the alchemy. These are alchemy items here. You can craft a potion from alchemy items that are owned by the town. Those are completely interchangeable. So when you go to the alchemist, you can use alchemy items that you personally have or that the town has. But when you're crafting items, you can't use stuff that the town has. Now when you're building buildings, like you're going to build an alchemist building, you can only use materials that the town has, but you can't, you can use your own personal materials as well. But so it's like separate inventories that you have to manage in this game. I think that that's a miss, if you ask me. Just one inventory is necessary. Let all the characters share it, and they just have to agree upon it. I don't understand what the point is of the individual inventories. But the gold works that way too. Like each character has its own individual. It's a little lame, if you ask me, but that is how the rules work. So technically speaking, the snow thistle, which is this little symbol here, actually I should make sure these are all sorted. He has 1, right? And then the metal, he has 1. And then hide, he has 2. And I'm doing this with a pen. This is a famous last thing to do. Rock root, 1. And then 2 lumber. And again, if it has this thing on the top, if you're playing with a lower player count, it could count possibly as more lumber. So 2 lumber. So he has a personal stash of stuff. And then these cards actually go back into the pool. So you don't actually hold on to the cards. Now, at any point, he can choose to give these items to the town, and then they would be stored in the town supply. You can see Frosthaven supply. So, a little wonky there, but alright, it is what it is. What else? I think that's it. If he would have gotten a new perk, that would happen. If he had enough experience points to level up, that would happen once he goes back to town. There's a certain phase where that occurs. And then the other thing we have to do is the scenario itself might have what happens when you win. So let's see. The scenario is complete when all enemies are dead. At the end of that round, read 9.1. So we're going to get out our section book and read 9.1. And I know I still have to do the other characters, but let's end the scenario here properly. Alright. Conclusion. You lower your weapon and breathe as the remaining Algox retreat, scurrying from Frosthaven like giant white mice. They'll be back, you're certain of it, but for now you can rest. You can wipe the soot from your face and take stock. Frosthaven is almost exactly what you imagine, a knot of grey stone and timber surrounded by sharpened palisade walls. A place where mere survival is an everyday concern, and where only the desperate could feel at home. Thankfully, though, the townsfolk are tough. They're already on their feet, dousing fires and picking through rubble. In fact, one of the townspeople is marching right for you. A sharp-featured human woman with a fighter's muscular build, close-cropped hair, and dark skin approaches and offers a gauntleted hand in greeting. The sea be praised, she says, crushing your fingers with enthusiasm. We wouldn't have held out much longer without you. You nod and ask what happened. Oh, just life up north is all, she chuckles. I'm Satha, the mayor of this fort now, that my predecessor and his lieutenant have fallen. As for the Algox, they've been at us all winter. Took them months to break through, but they finally did. Killed a dozen or so of my people, and would have done worse if you hadn't shown up. You explain who you are, that you've been sent from White Oak. At the mention of the capital, her face scrunches up in displeasure. It's about time they sent someone to help fix this mess they made, she says, then tries to lighten her mood. I don't mean to be ungrateful. I am overjoyed to still be among the living, but a lot more people would be alive if your employers, the Merchants Guild, never stuck their noses in our business. I spent my whole life here in what was once a fishing village, living and letting live with the Algox, until last summer, that is, when the Merchants Guild sent some garrisons and bureaucratic types up here to see how Frosthaven could be more use to the Empire. One of their expeditions proceeded to muck about in an Algox burial site, and the next thing we know, righteously angry Algox are attacking us. The ink stains immediately hightailed out of here, leaving just a handful of soldiers behind to keep us safe. Satha clenches her gauntlet tighter and tighter as she tells the story, but now releases her grip. I've had to learn a lot of things this last year. The hard truth is that the Algox refuse to be reasoned with, and the only way to stay alive and keep this place I call home is to win the fight, regardless of who started it. Her face softens and she clasps your shoulder hard. There's not many of you, but I'll take what I can get, especially now that our garrison's been thinned, and as it happens, I have an idea. She turns and gestures to the town's smoldering walls. We took a beating in that fight, so if we're going to survive much longer, we'll have to do more than just sit around and wait for the next attack. She sizes you up carefully. I've already sent a scout to track the Algox back home to the mountains. Drop your gear at any longhouse that's still standing and rest up. As soon as you're ready, I want you to go over there and find a way to slow these attacks. The bunks in the remaining longhouses are all occupied by the injured, but you find a dry stretch of floor to lay your heads on your packs. You doubt you can sleep after the horror that greeted you in this little outpost, but before you know it, a young Valroth man is nudging you awake. Satha's scout has returned with his report. He tracked the attackers to the foothills of the Copperneck Mountains, where they entered a cave at the base of Snowscorn Mountain 3. Interestingly, a small band split from the main group before they reached the cave and hiked around to the mountain's deadly eastern face 2. The scout didn't see where they went, but he suspects a secret entrance to the Algox stronghold. One last thing, the Valroth says as she wipes the final dregs of sleep from your eyes. Another group is moving towards Snowscorn. They were Algox, no doubt, but they dressed differently than the ones who attacked us. They carried long sticks and had some wild animals with them. I don't know if they're going to attack the mountain or reinforce it, but either way, you'd better get there quick. Okay, so we gain 2 plus X morale, where X is the number of city guards still on the map. And then we unlocked 2 new scenarios, 2 and 3, and we performed the Outpost phase, which is page 50 of the rulebook. Okay, so the morale, if I remember correctly, is a new thing. It's this little chart here, which using a pen is going to get me into all kinds of trouble. But this is the morale chart, and it's going to go up and down. And of course, using a pen is going to, not be a good idea here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to write small, so that way I can cross it out and replace it. But it said it's 2 plus X, where X is the number of city guards still in the map. And as you can see, we have 3 city guards still alive. So that would be 5. The morale is 5. So we're going to start the game I'm actually going to start on this side and just put it right here in the corner. That's where we are. Okay, so we're at 5. And obviously this is going to go up and down for a variety of reasons. And yes, I need a better way of tracking this because this is going to get sloppy quick. Now, what the morale of 5 does for us is our defense value is 0. And that would, total defense is here. And there are town guards that, just like we have a combat deck, they have a combat deck. And you would draw, and for example, that would be a -20 to their defense. This would be horrible, actually. That's a horrible draw. Let's put that back in. And then there will be things we can do to upgrade the town guard and make them stronger and stronger as well. Okay. So morale's done. And then we're going to unlock 2 and 3. Now that brings up the next thing. And these things are so big that I had to store them elsewhere. So give me a second. I gotta go get this. It's these things. So these are, if you think of an advent calendar, these are advent calendars but for the board game. And they're meant to be like connected together. So if you lay them down, they sort of connect together like this. Here, let me put these down. So see how these two, you put them side by side and the grooves actually line up perfectly, and so do the arrows. So if you ever finished mission 42, it's going to unlock mission 50 and 49. So you can see like the progress for the campaign. Now obviously we don't need all these because these are much later in the campaign than where we're currently at. So I'm going to get these out of the way. And you can see it goes up to 103 missions. And then these are going to be bonus scenarios, right? That's just like the Gloomhaven. If you've never played Gloomhaven, there are bonus scenarios. And then it keeps going, actually. There's 137 missions in this game. Holy buckets. That's a lot. Now, there is an icon key on the back of each of these that tells you what the different colors are and what they mean and all that stuff, which is semi-helpful. Obviously you have to turn one of them over to look at what the other ones do, but we are starting here. And as you can see, we had mission 0, which we didn't do because mission 0 was the training wheels one. We just did mission 1, and it said we unlocked mission 2 and 3. So look at that, 2 and 3 is there. So what we do is we would have to pop these out, just like the advent calendar, and then there's going to be stuff underneath that we're going to be able to, like stickers and whatnot, that we're going to be able to put on the game board. So I want to clean things up, and then we'll pop 0, 1, 2, and 3 just to see what's under 0 and 1 in case we missed anything. And then we'll get 2 and 3 out, and we'll take care of that when we get back to town. I want to be able to clean up what's in front of us first. Okay, so we got Blink Blade done. Next up is the Drifter. Oh, what are we going to name the Drifter? I don't know. I should have pre-thought the names. I'm going to pause while I think of a name. Okay, I got our name. It is the Big Lebowski. I mean, what else says Drifter? I guess Mad Max maybe, but we're going to do the Big Lebowski here. Alright, so he had one wood, one of these, and one of those, and I know I didn't go over them, but these masteries are actually really hard to do. So nobody hit their masteries, and you have to be very deliberate to hit these. This is going to be tough, but it's a nice little additional challenge to do. And the Big Lebowski's goal was to get hit for 5 or more damage and lose a card to negate the suffering, and we failed. So there's no check marks for Lebowski. And getting back to their personal goal, he has to complete 5 different scenarios that require those symbols. The Rapture has a goal where he has to kill 2 Algox guards, 2 Lurker Crawlcushers, and 2 Robotic Bolt Shooters. So I do not know if he actually killed the guards. This is where the video game is superior. So I need to keep better track of that. We definitely killed some guards. I just don't know if he was the one that did the killing. That's the problem I have. So he does have to specifically go after the guards. Now this open 44, these are envelopes. I did figure that out, and they're town buildings pretty much. So town building 44 would get opened, and then if 44 is already open, then he would open 88, and if those are already open, then we get, there's a big thing in the rulebook about that. So the failing to capture the guard thing, that was my mistake. I should have paid better attention. Now we go to like the Bone Shaper, and you know, unlock a strong foundation, 65. So we're gonna have to unlock that mission, and basically just go and do that mission to completion. It could be multiple missions, but 65 gets unlocked. So we'll do that when we go to town. And then also the Banner Spear has one. Just trying to death space is an issue here, and his goal is, or her goal is, to personally loot 8 lumber cards through loot tokens to unlock 69. Alright, so she ended up getting no loot tokens, so that's not a good thing. Alright, so Drifter is done, so while we're at it, let's do the banner. She has no loot tokens. She needed to never use a potion, so she did accomplish that, so we do get a check mark there. Oh, I forgot, with the Drifter. Drifter had 8 experience points and then 6 more, so the Drifter is at 14. Okay, and then the Banner Spear is 7 plus 6, 13. And what's the name for the Banner Spear? What does she look like? She's actually pretty badass. They're making her look like she's blind. Like she has like a blindfold on her eyes, which makes no sense. And they make her also look a little oriental. Okay. Okay, she does not have a blindfold on. That's just me having horrible eyes. It's her bangs that were artwork for her bangs. But she does have dark hair. She does not look as oriental up close. And yeah, she's wearing like paladin style armor, but she has a hawk on her arm. So I'm gonna do a little play on words with a movie from the 80s. Black Sonia. If you don't know the movie, just Google it. It's actually, it'll be called Red Sonia in the movies. No, that's awesome. She has no items though, and her role is done here. And we actually came close to doing one of her master ones, but yeah. Anyways, let's just keep going. And then last but not least, we have the Bone Shaper, who had to collect fewer loot tokens than any other character. And I don't know what fewer means in this case. The Banner Spear collected 0. And since she also collected 0, I'm going to say that she didn't succeed. At the very end, the Banner Spear was going to collect 1, and our plans got ruined because we got immobilized. And then, of course, the Banner Spear killed him and ended the scenario, which That's fine. I know I distinctly chose to do that, but of course that was the opportunity um, to get the loot that would have made it so she would have gotten this check mark. So no check mark for you. So, you know, do we call the Bone Shaper the Soup Kitchen? Or the Soup Man? That might be a bit much. Digging too deep on references there. This is what she looks like. She looks hideous. I guess the Necromancer is going to look hideous. Okay. I got the name. Alright. I know I'm laughing. It's probably not all that funny, but for me it is. Pennywise. I love it. For me, it's perfect. Okay, her experience points was 4 plus 6. She is sitting at 10. Now, the 4 thing, this particular one rotated really easily. I actually, at one point in the scenario, it looked like this. So somehow it got bumped and moved. So I don't know if she only got 4. I actually think that that's pretty low. So let's look at her cards let's look at her cards quick. So I granted an ally 5. That was 1. I summoned a skeleton. That's 2. That's 2 more for 4. I know I summoned at least 2 more skeletons. That's already 6. So we're already higher than what she said. I never did this one. I never was able to do that. I couldn't pull that off. Alright, I'm going to say she had 6, which would put her at 12. I mean, just by skeletons alone and the Wraith, that was more than the 4 that I had indicated there. Okay, so that wraps up the end of scenario stuff. So now we're going to travel to town. And let me get these off the board, just out of the way. And you know what? I use that for my Wraith, but that's actually my main character. The Wraith is... that one right there. That's the Wraith. Not that it mattered. It actually, the main character looked like a Wraith to me as well. Let's get the guards off the board. And we're just going to shove these up. I'll take care of those later. And we're just making room for our game board and things of that nature. Okay, so the game board. Where did I put it? There is so much stuff in this game. Oh, here it is. I would love to have this out all the time, but it's way too large to have out while you're playing. So I'm going to move the camera for a bit. So take a look at my poker chips while I put this on the board. Okay, and there you have it. It is taking up a very large portion of my table. This is not small at all. The last one was a lot smaller. So he went a lot bigger with this. Okay, obviously this is Frosthaven. And then the Copperneck Mountains, as you can see, are here. This stretch. So we're looking at mission 2 and 3. And the hardest part is always figuring out where the heck this stuff is. Scenario 1, I found it, is right here. And then 2 and 3, I'm guessing, is going to be very close, but so far is not. Oh, here they are. There's 2. And there's 3. Oh, I see. Frosthaven is actually there. This is a global map of Frosthaven. And so there's Frosthaven as it sits in the global situation, and then this is Frosthaven zoomed in. So scenario 1 was inside of Frosthaven, and it looks like this is oriented, so this would be the Copperneck Mountains here, and so 3 would be right off to the left here. So there's mission 0, there's mission 3, and then mission 2 was, oh, down here. So 3 and 2. Okay, so what we got to do then is we're going to go, first thing is we use our little advent calendar, and I'm going to pop off the 0. And so what that is that gave me this. And you can see it says Howling in the Snow, and then there's this, which is a sticker that I can peel off, and I guess this is throwaway. So the sticker, obviously you got to find where 0 is, and it goes there. And this should go right where the 0 is and line up with the other stuff that's already there. And this is sometimes the most challenging thing, is like, where exactly does it go? That looks pretty close. Oh, I'm too far south. Oh no. Sticker doesn't come off. Okay. Now, they also gave me, and I might have ordered it, it's a removable sticker set. So rather than permanently changing my game, I could play with this removable sticker set, which would have been a better idea, I guess. I never opened it. So it contains vinyl non-transferring adhesive stickers for clean removal. Allows you to reset, replay, and resell. So instead of what I just did, I could try to use this instead. Then you're now coordinating between two things, right? You open the advent calendar, and then you also have this. So let's see. The stickers aren't as nice looking. I can attest to that. And yeah, so right there is location 0. So we could have used that instead of the sticker I just did. But that's alright. I'm not famous. Nobody wants to buy my copy. And honestly, these location stickers, in my opinion, don't matter all that much. What matters is as long as you keep track of where your missions are. And actually, that could be a big deal, because once I break off these advent calendars, I actually don't know where my next mission is. So I would have to just get another sheet of paper and keep track of that separately. Alright, no worries here. The only thing is I'm horrible at putting my sticker on. I have the 2 double zeros there. So Agent 007. The other thing that happens is, the first thing when you get back to town is time passes. So we are in summer, and so this first batch of time, you just put an X on it. And if you eventually pass time and then put an X on this, then you read that. That's some kind of thing that happens. And then we're also going to have to do an Outpost event, and it'll be a summer Outpost event. Okay, and then when we go off to do a mission, we do a summer road event. And then, of course, as the seasons change, you switch. And I'm being told through the rules that the winter events are tougher. So we probably want to get our town built up as much as possible, and then boom, we're going to have to go through some tough stuff. Okay? Let's keep it going. We got number 1 here. So number 1 breaks off, gives us a sticker, and then we just unlocked 2 and 3. Now, one thing that's already noticeable is, see the sticker back stayed on. And so this is the back of the sticker. So you have to peel it off I got it. It's like sticking to my fingers. And so I'll show you. I peeled this one off, and now you can see that there's actually, that's a linked campaign. That one. And then we got like this one. You can see the beige here means it's part of this beige series of missions. So they're color-coded now to show you that the color-coded missions are all part of the same like objective, if you will. So 2 and 3 are both tied to number 1 there, and then 3 is linked to 4 and 2 is linked to 4. So this is one of those deals where I think I have to pick which one I'm going to go to, and then then it basically goes to 4. So if I go to 2, it's going to take me to 4, and then I may not have to do 3 anymore. And see how it has this little dotted circle? They're going to give you an X, and let's say I do this one, then I can't do that one. So then it would put an X over that one, and I won't ever be able to do this one as part of the campaign. That's the idea. And again, the removable stickers is, I guess I did pay for them, and here I am not using them. But anyways. So number 1 here, A Town in Flames. It comes off. And we said, okay, number 1 was down here in the woods. So let's continue to demonstrate how bad I am at doing this. So if the 1 was like that, there we go. That actually looks really good. Much better! Yay! You can actually see that it lined up here and then... Alright, so that's A Town in Flames. Number 2. You know what? I'm going to pause. You don't need to watch me put stickers on. Okay, and then 2 and 3 are now on. And there you go. Alright, so I'm building up a little garbage pile over here. Okay, so let's follow the directions, the manual, and make sure I don't miss anything. There are so many books right now. Here it is. Okay. We do a passage of time, and then we're going to do the Outpost event. So it's page 59, and we're just going to step through it because I don't want to miss anything. And so we did the passage of time, that part covered. And then we're going to go to the Outpost event, where we now have to draw the event card. And so the Outpost cards are... bear with me, I know I have them. Oh, here they are. So the first 20 of them have been shuffled. So here's what they are. There's an inactive road events, inactive summer road events, inactive summer outpost events, and then inactive winter outpost events. So that means then that the other side should be active. Yeah, there we go. So if I turn this around, this is easier to understand. So the active winter outpost events are this first section. And then active summer outpost events are they really this whole thing? I think I screwed up somehow. Let me figure this out. Okay, I figured it out. It's very wonky. But there's actually little dividers inside of here. You can't see them, but like the cards are, like these cards are in its own divider, and these cards are in a different one. And so these are the active ones here, and then the inactive ones here, but see, it's its own group. These are the active ones, and then these are the inactive ones in the next group. And then this is a third group here, and then there's a fourth group back here. I know it's wonky, but it does work. And so we're doing an active summer event. So see how this is one group? I just draw the first card here because it's already shuffled before I put it into there. So we're going to get S04. That could be done a lot better, but for now I am not going to try to fix that. I just want to put this tray back to where I had it. Okay. There we go. Alright, so for the Outpost here, a lot of flavor text. I'm going to let you, well, here, we'll do it. A gentleman you haven't seen before wearing a dapper vest has set up a small table for cards on the street corner. He beckons you over. 3-card Monty, familiar? Simplest game there is. He pulls out 3 worn cards, frayed from use, and flips them upright on the table. Just need to watch the red queen, ignore the spades, just spot where she goes nice and easily. He flips the cards face down and with slow, deliberate movements shuffles their position. With a flourish, he invites you to pick up where the queen wound up. You point to the queen. He flips it upright with feigned surprise. You got it. And on first try, say, why don't you make this interesting? You agree to a wager. He shows you the queen, then shuffles the cards across the table. Tell you what, let's make this even simpler. I'll remove this one here. He plucks a card off the table, showing it's a spade. That leaves just 2 cards, which will be, make sure you followed the queen to the spot. You're sure you followed the queen to the spot on the left. Oh gosh, I hate these. So the designer's telling us that we're sure we followed the queen to the spot on the left. So do we pick the spot on the left? Or since this is a total shyster, we're going to pick the other one just because. Alright, I'm going to assume this guy's a total shyster and that he somehow tricked us. So we're going to pick the one on the right even though it told us that we're pretty sure it's on the spot on the left. And I'm probably going to overthink this and ruin my day, but let's do it. So this is the left answer. We would have lost 5 gold. You point to the card on the right. He flips it dramatically. Looks like a spade. Sorry, pal. And then we lose 5 collective gold. If you shouted cheating or neither, instead of choosing A or B, you flip over both cards at the same time. 2 spades, just like you suspected. You knock the table to the ground and drive the charlatan out of town. And then we would gain lucky dice. I was close. Did I actually say the word cheating or neither? I did say I thought he was a charlatan. Anyways, the gain lucky dice is an item, 242. I don't want to lose 5 collective gold. We only have like 8 total. So let's figure out where item 242 is. This is really near the end of the stack. Item 242. Lucky dice. During your next attack ability, treat the next 3 attack modifiers cards. During your attack ability, treat the next 3 attack modifier cards you draw as rolling. Oh my gosh, that's pretty good. Okay, that's good. And I know you could say, hey, I'm not sure you really earned those dice, but I'm taking them. And you don't like it, go watch It Played, where they won't show you anything. So, we got lucky dice. Now, what happens to the card? That is a great question. remove the card from the game if the icon... So it would get removed from the game if it was either of these. So we would never have seen it again. The thing is it should be removed from the game with this one too. What a silly one. They give you two options, and then you're supposed to say option C. I'm going to remove it from the game, and I know it said not to, but the only other options are you're going to lose cards or lose gold. There's no other way to unlock something. It's not like there's another lucky dice to unlock. So I will do that, and we will be happy with it. You will like it. And yes, one of the nice things about being solitaire is it's your game, and this is how you play it. Now, could I have been a more... I guess I'm not shouting cheat. I did think he was a charlatan. So, anyways, let's move on. So now it's explaining how defense checks works and damage buildings and all that, but we don't do any of this. That's only if the event... So the event card is how we could possibly be attacked. So then we do building operations. So after the Outpost event, we resolve the effects of all of our buildings, which we have none. We have 4 buildings unlocked, but they don't do anything. And so let me move the up. So for example, we have here a wall. We have a logging camp. We have a hunting lodge. Another wall. Sorry for the... There's a workshop. A barracks. Alchemist. And a craftsman. Okay, so these other ones, this is the cost to build something. I don't know, like, see, they have letters on them. And I don't know... Actually, I didn't ever read, like, what happens with those, because they gave me the impression that there's only 4 buildings, and it's these. So we have 4 buildings, and the cost to build them was supposed to be written... I guess it's written right here on the card. I thought it was written on the board, but I don't believe it is. So let's check this one more time. For each building, resolve any normal or rect effect which appears at the top of its card next to the sun icon. So the sun icon is this. So you can do that, and then if it was wrecked, there's still a sun icon, right? So if the workshop is wrecked, we're going to lose a wood or a hide. Okay, when the party gains or loses gold or resources due to these effects, they can be added from the supply, blah, blah, blah. Because the building operations step occurs immediately after the outpost step, any building that was wrecked during the outpost event will have its wrecked effect resolved once before the party even has an opportunity to rebuild it. So all this is this is resolving, this phase right now is we're resolving the sun effect on our buildings, which we don't have, well, maybe we do, because it says we have 4 buildings, and this says that this is barracks level 1. Here, let me zoom in for you. See, it says workshop and then level 1. So I think we have these buildings now. So they're already built. So out of all the ones here, we have collectively train up to 1 soldier for 3 gold and 1 material resource. I can hold a capacity of 4 soldiers in the barracks. Now, where do you keep track of that? There's in your party sheet, there's a section here for your soldiers, and you can see level 1 can have 4 of them. Level 2, level 3, level 4, etc. I don't want to hire any soldiers at this point. I think we need everything we got. Um, the that ends this phase. There's going to be an opportunity to build and upgrade these, but it's not here. This is just resolving the sun effect. That's building operations. It's really wonky. I didn't expect it to be like this, but yes, that's what it is. And yes, they have building costs on them. So this is like, I think to go to level 2, I have to pay all of these. And as you can see on here, there's walls and stuff that can be leveled up as well. But I don't have level 2 buildings unlocked. That's the other thing. So for example, these are our active buildings, and then for the inactive buildings, see, we have a mining camp, we have a hunting lodge, and I bet somewhere in here is going to be the walls. Got the craftsman, the alchemist, the barracks. Yeah, so there isn't even a wall upgrade. But the mining camp, though, is like this one over here. There's a mining camp. So, yes, we're going to be able to do some upgrades, but not until we unlock those buildings. Sorry, I'm sounding a little... I'm learning as I go here on this particular phase. So, anyways, thank you for your patience. So then we do what's called downtime. And here, you can see we're going to level up, retire characters, create characters, craft items, brew potions, sell items. That's downtime. And then I'm going to just flip through all this, because after downtime is construction. And you can see right there, that's where we build and repair and upgrade our buildings. So that's what I'm talking about. So the building phase here is just you're doing the little sunshine thing. And then you do your downtime where you deal with your characters, and you could use the buildings to craft items, etc. And then eventually you get to the building construction phase, and then that's it. So right now you can build, upgrade, or repair, which is, they call it rebuild. And because buildings could get damaged for a variety of reasons. So that's pretty much it. Now there are moon symbols on these buildings, and basically it's just telling you that during the downtime phase you can craft items. That's nothing. This lets you brew 2 herb potions, and this one here is interesting. I think this is more construction. Each of the following is an upgrade. Yeah, it's an upgrade. So you would just be doing that to do upgrades. Okay, now, what does it mean, 2 herb potions? There's an alchemy thing here somewhere. I gotta find it. This here is an alchemy thing. So if I take a whatever this is, and I mix it with whatever that is, I can pop this advent calendar out and it'll reveal what potion I made. Well, actually, no, it's whatever this is and whatever that is, right? And I think this symbol is just trying to help me. Oh, I'm sorry, this is a 3 herb. Ha, my apologies. Those are 3 herb potions. We can't make those yet. Those are the powerful ones. These are 2 herbs. So this symbol and this symbol, you put those together, and you get your potion. And then there's a table here that goes, to there, because that's all the different things. These are 3 herbs, so you're going to take this, and then you get that. Okay. We do not have the ability to make 3 herbs. Now, we could have 2 or more of these be the same. And then, of course, you got something here, and that's it. All right, so let me pause. I know it seems like I'm stumbling through. Sort of am. I have a grasp, like I said. It's just more, I want to get the sequence right. So let me make sure I get the sequence right, and then we will continue. Okay, there was something that was nagging me, and I'm glad I took the time to go through this. So the rulebook could be a lot better here. I've been praising this game a lot, but this particular area, it is bad. So, inspiration. It marks your party's inspiration. At the end of a scenario, you gain inspiration equal to 4 minus the number of characters. So in our case, we're going to get 1. And then you're going to spend them as if they were material resources when you're building in towns. And then you could spend 15 when retiring a character to add another personal quest. So the inspiration is here, and so we currently have 1, right? Now, you might think, okay, that's no big deal, but when you looked at the rewards, it didn't say we gained inspiration there. When you look at the sequence of events, the Outpost phase, there's no gain inspiration. So I'm going to write in here, it's not going to let me write. Dang you. It really should say gain inspiration somewhere in here. But because of it has like a glossy finish, my ink won't go on. So that's really what it needs to do. So it's completely missing that. Alright, now we got what we need to get going. And the section I was looking for to show you is actually right here. It talks about, upgrading, crafting and selling, retiring, blueprints, brewing potions, the whole 9 yards. So we did the passage of time. We drew our event and took care of that. Even if you don't like how I resolved it. Although I don't remember what I just did with the... Oh, here they are. Yep, the lucky dice. We got to give that to somebody. So then we're going to keep going to the building operations, and we do our downtime. There's nobody leveling up. Okay, there's nobody gained a perk. Although I would have done this at the end of the scenario, but this is where it's technically done. There's no character that reached their retirement goal. We're not going to create a new character. And this is just talking about initial benefits and prosperity leveling when you create a new character. And then we got this, crafting items. So there is a group of cards here. These are all craftable items. So we have spyglass that costs 1 metal. So during your attack, gain advantage. So this is like the goggles were on Gloomhaven. Very good card. So we may want to make one of these. Now here's the thing. I just want to make sure we get... so only items 1 to 10 are available. As the craftsman gets upgraded and the party discovers new, more items will be added. Any item available can be crafted that's in the supply. When an item is required, if all copies of the required item are owned by other members, the crafting character may spend gold resource or item. Let's see. Required amount of resources. When paying crafting costs, cannot be taken from the Frosthaven supply. You gain 1 copy of the item. So that's it. You just gain 1 copy. So if I want 2 people to have the spyglass, we would have to craft it twice. That's all. Okay, this is a very good item. Like it? Crude helmet. This is just like Gloomhaven. When you're attacked, you can treat a crit double modifier as if they drew a -1 instead. That's actually a little better than the Gloomhaven one. Traveling cloak. You get maximum hit point value by 1. This is a Gloomhaven-ish one. Next 2 attacks, the targeter gets disadvantage, a little better than the leather armor, because you get 2 uses. But you have to put a -1 in your deck. That's what this is here. So you have to put a -1 in your combat deck. Now there's a perk that will negate that. This one gives you +1 move. During your end of turn looting, loot an adjacent hex instead of the hex you occupy. I sort of like that. This is a game I think that's rewarding the looters a lot, so this would help us to do more looting. So we can loot an adjacent hex instead of the one we occupy. Not always the worst thing in the world, but you know, maybe you just need to get one step closer. That could be handy. The bow. Add +1 range to one of your range attacks. Not too excited about that one. This one is an either or, it looks like. One of your single target melee attacks may target an enemy 2 hexes away. Okay, fair enough. During your turn, grant one ally within 2 range a shield. And then when an enemy would apply a negative condition to you, prevent it. Oh, that's pretty cool. Alright, these are very good items, and it makes up for the fact that the shop had a lot of shit in it. So this is a tough choice. How do I want to spend our stuff? And remember, you can't use the Frosthaven supply to do this. So only 2 of our characters even have the materials, the Drifter and the Blink Blade. So Blink Blade has 2 hide, 1 anvil, 1 metal, and 2 wood. And then he's got 1 metal and 1 wood, and then 1 of those, and that's it. So, for example, the spyglass costs a metal. So during your attack, you gain advantage on 1 attack. The advantage is most helpful, like the goggles were most helpful, when you're attacking multiple enemies with 1 attack, because then you have advantage against all of them. So this is actually really good for the spear, for Black Sonia. The problem is when you make an item, it's yours. You don't get to trade it. That's like, it's very possessive, this game. I don't believe you can trade items. So what else did I like? I do like the hide armor, but I don't like the penalty at the moment, so I'm not interested in that. The flexible slippers are interesting. The spear is very good, but again, I think that would be nice for the, you know, this one that has spear in her title. Yeah, that would actually be awesome. But she doesn't have any materials. Okay, let me think about this. Okay, I have my mind made up, I think. So I scratched off the metal for Rapture, and Big Lebowski paid a wood and a metal, and I'll show you real quick what they got. For the wood, we got the crude spear, and I'm assuming that's an ore. Let me check, actually. Oh, it's a both. So you need both materials. Interesting. Okay, I'll still make the spear. I also had purchased a helmet, but since the metal was needed for the spear, then yeah, I'll just spend both of those to get the spear. And then for Rapture, I just spent a metal for the spyglass. And that's it. Not much else to do there. Let's go do some potions. So next up is we brew potions, and this part is exactly like I explained. There is eventually an alchemist level 2 where you can distill your potions. Basically, you turn them in and you can get the materials like one of the 2 materials that are necessary. And then eventually at level 3 you can do the 3 ingredient potions. So this one requires the board I was telling you about. And again, we got to look at our cards here. The Big Lebowski only has 1 ingredient, so he can't do anything, but he can put it into the Frosthaven pool and let anybody use it. And then we have 2 ingredients here. So we're only going to really be able to make 1 potion. And it's going to be a potion with this ingredient and that one. And I think that's what he intended for us to figure out first, because there's no other ingredient to be had here. So I will do exactly that. We're going to do whatever this horse-looking thing is, and the leaf. I'd already forgot the names of them, but it doesn't matter. So if we go on here and we see the horse-looking thing, we go over to the leaf. This is the potion we just made. And I'm trying to pop it out. There we go. And so we just made the renewing potion, 092. So 092 is... I'm assuming this falls under craftable items. Yep, there's 2 of them. The renewing potion. During your turn, you can flip this card over up to 2. Flip over up to 2 of your spent items. So you could refresh them. So for example, those are exhausted at the moment. This would unexhaust them. So when we brew potion, all the charts are closed, so the potion formulas are unknown. The first time the new combination is brewed, tear it off. Once it's been revealed, the action cannot be undone. After the brewing character gains a copy of the brewed potion, all remaining copies goes into craftable supply. So this is now a craftable item, and then this item goes to Rapture. And there we be. Okay, and the items, by the way, like this, you can hold so many, and in Gloomhaven it was based on your level. I'm pretty sure that's the same here. I'd have to go look it up. But, you know, at being level 1, I think you can only have like 1 potion, or maybe 2. And then as you go and gain up in levels, you can then carry more than 1. So, alright, and we can sell items. And it says that when a character sells a craftable item, you gain 2 gold for each resource or item that was required to build it. And then that's it. I think... And here we could do the build, upgrade, rebuild, but we don't have any buildings available for us to build. So at this moment, there's nothing to build. We're just holding onto our resources. So I apologize. That took over an hour to do. And a lot of it was, of course, you watching me make sure I didn't miss anything. But it really isn't that bad if you think about it. You're going to gain your inspiration, which isn't written in the rulebook. See, that's why I'm so nervous. There's stuff that's not written in the checklist. So you gain your inspiration. You come to town. You progress time. You draw your event. Resolve it. Then you do all the actions that your buildings do during the daytime, and then during the nighttime you can rest, you can level up, do all your character maintenance, and then you can craft items and build potions. And then the very last thing you can do is construct a new building, which at this point we can't do. At any time I can move my resources into the town, so like my logs or my metal, but I'm choosing not to do that because it penalizes me. I can't get it back if I want to craft an item. So I'm just going to let everybody hold on to their stuff. I'm also looking at things like the mining camp here, and I think I'm going to get metal from that. I have a logging camp, so I think I'm going to get wood from that. There's a hunting lodge, which should get me hides. So I think there's a way to get things for the city without me having to go out and get it through a mission. So next up is we got to go to either mission 2 or mission 3, because those are the ones that are unlocked at the moment. And I will let you know what I figure out when I figure it out. At the moment, I don't have any of that figured out. And I think that's it. There are a whole bunch of stickers here that they come with the game, and we're not going to use any of those at the moment, but whenever the time is right, they of course want us to use those stickers. And then I have other books. There's so much stuff in this game that we haven't even looked at yet. But that's it. This board, all its purpose is to just give us a depiction of where we are in the town geographically. And I like it, but gosh darn it, it's much bigger than the old board was. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. So a lot of praise in my earlier videos, not as much praise here. But I still enjoy the game. It's a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to the next mission, and I will make sure I have it set up before we start the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome. And if anybody thinks that I missed anything or has any experience with this, please let me know. Obviously, this is brand new so most of the Gloomhaven stuff doesn't carry over here, and that's why I had to move a little slower. But it does seem pretty straightforward. Don't forget your inspiration, folks. Talk to you later.